Hello there, my name's Douglas Maxwell. I'm a playwright and I've got a play on here at the Traverse Theatre in Edinburgh this festival. It's on July the 25th to August the 25th. It's called So Young. If you're in Edinburgh this summer, come and see it. It's going to be a good one. But we're mid-rehearsals now, and the Traverse have seen me lingering around causing trouble and they want to keep me busy. So they've asked if I'll give a wee tour of the Traverse Theatre, some of my memories, some of the moments, what it's meant to me in my career over the last 30 years. Which I'm very happy to do. What I will say is, some people will say, well, Douglas, look, you're going to be talking about the Traverse. Are you going to be talking about ley lines? The answer to that is yes, because you see, on this magical island of ours, there are all these wonderful pathways that sometimes where they intersect create areas of power, pilgrimage, sacrifice and performance. And on this hill in Edinburgh, there has been performances happening before that castle was built. And to this day, in this space, you've got the Usher Hall here, just behind it you've got the Royal Lyceum, and in the catacombs of those buildings, in the basements and the roots closest to the power, you've got this, the Traverse Theatre, which does the most powerful, the most intimate, the most immediate type of performance there is. New plays. This is the Traverse. Let me show you around.
Oil based, I think for me that's the toughest you get.
This bar has amazing qualities to it. I've had some amazing nights in here and some dark, long nights of the soul I don't want to talk about. But it's not just about drinking and meeting people and pretending you're going to see a show that you don't actually go and see. Work happens in here. I had my first ever professional work at the Traverse performed on a wee stage over there. It was a scratch night. In those days, you used to have to write a little scene based on whatever show was in Trav 1 at that point. It was called Lazy Bed by Ian Crichton Smith. And professional actors performed it. I didn't get to see it. I didn't have enough money to come through from Glasgow to see it, so I missed my Traverse debut. But I've seen loads of good things. I remember seeing Joe Clifford standing on a stage just over here, performing a scene from Gospel According to Jesus, Queen of Heaven. I've seen Gary McNair do a one-man thing over here. David Gregg used to write in a corner over here. There was a table in the corner. David used to write plays. Stroke of genius, really, if you think about it, because he'd picked the one place in the world where he was absolutely certainly going to be interrupted, which is what we all want, you know. When I think of this bar, though, the most important thing to me is this is where I had all my meetings when I was sending plays away. It took me about 5 or 6 years to get a play on from when I first started. I sent every single one to the Traverse. And every single one, I had a meeting on one of these tables where I would come up and sit with Ella Wildridge or Catherine Mendelsohn or Hannah Rye, and they would try and tell me what I was doing wrong, sometimes not particularly successfully, sometimes they'd be pulling their hair out with frustration. And this is where I learnt how to write plays. This is where I learnt from those women what it would take to get the plays from here into the offices, then from the offices into the theatres downstairs. This is where I learnt my craft. But not least, this is where I met my wife. Now she would say, oh no, we met in an office in London, we met in a restaurant. Okay, we did, but I really met her when she was standing here with a leather jacket tied around her waist, drinking a bottle of beer. This is where it started. 22 years, 2 teenage kids later, we're still going. Don't mess with ley lines. Okay, let's go and see the stuff that we're really here to see. The theatres, Trav 2, then Trav 1. Let's go. Welcome to Trav 2. At first glance, it's just a bare studio theatre, featureless. Could be anywhere in the world, could be a student theatre. But that would be a mistake to think that. That would be like saying that the Cavern in Liverpool is just somewhere bands used to play. This is the Traverse 2. This room, ask any actor that's ever played in here, is alive. And it comes alive in a really weird way. Traverse 2 rewards words. Now it's a bit of a mess because they're rehearsing my play So Young in here. And I love rehearsal rooms and all that, props and all this stuff, so it's good. But you'll get the idea of this place. Now, even though it's a tiny little theatre, it punches way, way, way above its weight. I have a memory of seeing Knives and Hens in here. As I say it, I feel like it's a lie. And I bet you someone will say in the comments, Knives and Hens didn't do Trav 2. But I remember sitting there watching Knives and Hens first time round. Like, could that be right? And we know that Knives and Hens by David Harrow went on to become not just one of the most important plays in Scottish theatrical history, one of the most influential plays, but one of the most influential plays in Europe. Guarantee that I saw Midsummer in here. I sat there for Midsummer. I sat there for Ulster American by David Ireland. Midsummer's by David Gregg. I sat in that far corner for Expensive Shit by Adura Onishile. This is the place where you'll see plays at the earliest stage, and this place is always on fire. Now, when I was writing all those plays over and over again and having those endless meetings in the Traverse Bar and being told, no, you're awful, you have to go away and try again, stop being awful, a weird thing happened, and one day I wasn't awful. One day I leapt up. I wasn't just a wee bit better, I was like much, much, much better. And it confused everyone except the Traverse. They read the next play that I'd written, it was called Helmet, and gave this room to me and the director, John Rotalick, to try it out, to test it out with an audience, to see how it would go. Now, they could have said, no, you're one of those crazy writers that we're never going to have anything to do with. You're a difficult thing that we feel awkward about. But they didn't. They read the play and they knew it. No, this is all right. Tested it out in here. I sat in that far corner, gripping onto the bars, and looked over as there was a woman called Lucy Mason. Philip Howard, the artistic director, was in London. He didn't see it. Lucy Mason was sitting there, and at the end the audience went nuts and she looked over and she went like that.
Yes.
And some pop trivia for you, some pop culture trivia for you. In that little workshop of that play Helmet was the actor Billy Boyd. And he got a call at one point to go up to the Traverse office halfway through, and he came down and he was looking all pale and a bit wobbly. And one of the actors said, "You all right, Billy?" And he said, "Aye." He said, "Anything the matter?" And he said, "I can't tell you, I've just signed a secrecy agreement. I'm in Lord of the Rings." And later on, I ended up buying him a drink at the bar, and I was thinking, I feel a bit sorry for him, he's getting a bit too excited. Nobody wants to see a film of Lord of the Rings. So I was right again. I've had plenty of plays on in here. A Respectable Widow Takes to Vulgarity started here, and that ended up in New York and being filmed. Man's Best Friend, starring Jonathan Watson, was in here. I Can Go Anywhere was a Trav show, and it opened in here and ran in here over Christmas. And my last play, Sheriff of Kalamaki, played in here. And it always cooks. Always. When Trav 2 has a play that the audience engage with, it's on fire. Right, let's go and have a look at Traverse number 1. The audience, when they come into Trav 1, are different to the audience in every other theatre in Scotland because of what they expect, because of what they're here to do. They are not expecting to see a lavish musical. They are not expecting to see Midsummer Night's Dream or A View from a Bridge. There's no tribute act on that stage. There is no stand-up comedian on that stage. They walk in this door and take up these seats to see a new play. A brand new play that no one has an opinion on. There's no consensus on it yet. And that brings a bit of pressure, but it brings a little bit of electrical charge to the place. And that's what makes it unlike anywhere else you'll ever see a play. This is for people that love new plays, which are really people that love theatre, because I think if you don't like new plays, come on, you don't really like theatre that much. Just admit it. It's fine. But theatre lovers like myself, this is where we want to be. It was sitting in these seats that I saw the work of my elders and betters for the first time. Massive influences on me. Liz Lockhead's Perfect Days, Stephen Greenhorn's Passing Places. This was where I first saw the work of Peter Arnott, Chris Hannon, Joe Clifford, who, by the way, all debuted in the same Fringe season at the Traverse. Can you imagine that? This is where I first saw Nicola McCartney's work. Rona Monroe, Sue Glover. I've seen Zinnie Harris's work in here. And when I think of this place, when I think of Trav 1, I think of massive hits and little masterpieces that snuck underneath the wire. Of course, I'm thinking about stuff like Gargarin Way by Gregory Burke. I remember at a time when I thought that would be the biggest Scottish play that there could be. I couldn't imagine how a play could get any bigger than Gargarin Way. And then Gregory went away and wrote Blackwatch. So I wish him all the best. Swine. No, I'm only joking. It was amazing and very exciting. So this can all be moved around. The Traverse doesn't always stay like this. It can go into a horseshoe shape, like a thrust, and it can go right the way down. For So Young this year at the Fringe, the seats will come down here and down again from about here. There's a lower portion of the seats here. Some of my favourite ever shows have been in that thrust way of putting the stage where it comes out, seating banks on either side. Strangers' Babies by Linda McLean, which is an amazing, beautiful play, was done like that. It can go in proper traverse, which is seating banks on either side. I saw Steph Smith's Girl in the Machine in that format. I'm told it can even go in the round, although I've not ever seen that before. I think there could be seating banks all round. I remember Rob Drummond's quiz show turned the whole place into a TV studio. Jury Play by Gridiron took all the seats away and made it into a courtroom. So it's completely flexible, and it has some of the best stage management in the business, because during the Fringe, they have to get in and get out every 2 hours. Every show comes in, every show goes out against the clock, because if it overruns by about 20 minutes, no one will come to the next show, because they're all double booked later on, you see. High pressure stuff, so these guys are the top in the business. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little tour of my memories of the Traverse and all those wonderful plays. If you're watching this thinking, oh, you didn't mention the play I did, I was in. I was off the top of my head, give me a break. I still love your show, I promise. Listen, if that got you in the mood for seeing iconic theatre, come to the Traverse, catch the next generation of iconic works, and if you see me hanging around a bar, come up and say hello, I'd like to meet you. See you soon. Thank you.